Ladies and gentlemen, the first man to build 21-inch biceps, drug-free.
You know, my friends, I've been just overwhelmed with this Ferguson upheaval and how stupid we are as the masses of people. I can't believe it. Who would you rather have seen laying in that highway? Officer Wilson or that 300-pound street hoodlum? Now, you know, let's get this emotion and look at this man. This street hoodlum was trying to disarm an officer, a uniformed officer, to take his gun. Now, you think if he'd got that gun, who would be laying in the street? The officer. And the bleeding hearts would be coming up how he tried to protect himself. Let me tell you something, my friends. The only line between a street hoodlum and your life is that officer. That officer, let me tell you, because I'm so angry about all of this. They're talking about this like this some nice little choir boy with a Bible on his arm. That street hoodlum had just held up a store and pushed the owner aside. This is what we want representing us. We're scared to death as it is. And we're hollering about what that officer being exonerated. What else can you do? What was this officer supposed to do? Make sure he don't hurt this sweet boy. This guy tried to disarm him. For what reason? To do to him what was done to him by a uniformed officer of the law. And you know, I said to myself, let me call my friend. I got two friends of mine, retired New York City policemen, Reggie and Benny. I asked them both what would they have done under the circumstances. Reggie said he never had to use his gun criminally in his whole 35 years on the police force. Benny said he only had to raise his once. People think policemen are shooting like they see on TV. They don't. But the point is, Reggie said, Leroy, if he had reached for my gun, he's a dead man. There's no, maybe I'll shoot him in the knee or he's a dead man. And the same thing Benny said. Anytime you find a person with the contempt this man had for law and order to try to disarm a uniformed policeman, and it's out of the question. Because if he has that much contempt for policemen in full uniform, what kind of respect do you think he'll have for you? What is the future of that guy? And they're carrying on rioting. I don't think any of them sat down to think. That officer is the line between him and the marauding hoodlum like this big 300-pound brown guy. That officer, they're not, when something happens to them, they're not going to sit back and say, look to call Brown. They're looking to call the officer. Yet when this officer, can you imagine the humiliation, the fear, and the shame this officer must have had when he had to fight in his own car, some 300-pound hoodlum that has so much contempt for the law that he's fighting the officer in his own car? And if you notice how the media does, they fine up everything. Now this guy, people don't know, he had a companion. His companion walked on off and it was over with. But not the monster. The monster's going to dominate the police. I mean, what is the matter with the citizens? And they're carrying on like somehow this boy was walking down the street with a Bible and the officer shot and killed him. Because when I first heard it, officers shoot an unarmed black guy 7 times. First thing hit me, that's the media played the game with you. They knew the whole story. I said, my God, what's happening? Shoot him 7 times? No, that wasn't the full story. But that wouldn't lead up to what they want to lead up to. See, they want to lead up to a disaster so that you wonder what happened. They could have told you that from the beginning. But the point that gets me is the public. They're rioting. And if you ask one of them, what are they rioting for? They couldn't even tell you. They couldn't even tell you. I mean, can you just imagine somebody died? You're either going to be that officer that was hired to protect you or the street hoodlum. Which one you want alive? And you know what? I think I'm a great guy. I'll give you my heart. But if I was a cop and some goddamn hoodlum tried to take my gun, he's a dead man. He's dead. Just like my friend Reggie says, retired, and Benny. Anybody that attempts to take my weapon to hurt me is dead. He's supposed to sit back and say, well, let me shoot him in the knee because I may hurt him? No. And can you imagine the shame and dishonor that officer had to feel that he had to fight for his own life in his patrol car for some 300-pound hoodlum? I mean, it's not even a case. And you talk about go to trial, and what are you going to charge the officer with? Not shooting too many times. What are you going to charge him with? It just hurts me the most. We got to stop this insanity, rioting and carrying on, and they have a goddamn sense of what they're doing. It's all racial. Nothing to do with race. That's all. And it doesn't make any sense. We can't keep going back to the history. We got to look at this thing at what it is now. And this case is open and shut. I can't imagine any protection for this boy that was killed. I have nothing but utter contempt for him. The gall to try to disarm a uniformed cop. That's the only safety margin between you and complete destruction. Can you imagine if we didn't have cops, what would happen in this country? But yet they're carrying on about some 18-year-old boy like they got some street little kid walking down the street shot down. Let me think, my friends. Don't get emotional. Think. What would you rather have laying in that field? A dead police officer or that 300-pound hoodlum? We see that officer can still project and help us. That 300-pound hoodlum. The longer he's around, the more destruction he's going to bring because he has no respect for nothing. So that's my take. And I tell you, I think I'm a terrific human being. But if it was me, I would have done the exact same thing that of the contempt that this guy had for the police. I would have done the exact same thing that officer did. Emptied my gun into him. Think and stop trying to make. Now, of course, the bad guy is the cop. What's the cop supposed to do? Take place of the hoodlum? Think, my friends, for God's sakes, I see people carrying around with banners and things. I said, what are they, crazy? What are they bannering about? What did this officer do that was wrong? Oh, he shot too many times? Maybe he didn't shoot enough times. Well, that's my take on it. And it just gets me. And the thing that gets me the most when I talk to my friends, both retired New York City policemen, and they said, if anybody tried to take my gun, he's a dead man. That's what they said. And I go along with them, concur 100%. If I was in a patrol car and some hoodlum tried to shoot me in my own car, he's a dead man. That's my take. You look me up on my website, LeroyColbert.com, and you see that I'm a great guy. But I'm a sensible man. And I think what's going on, all that. And you know what? Another thing, let me add, my friends, how rotten the media is. Now you see this stepfather hollering, oh, burn Burn it down, burn it down. Well, Stephen Campbell told me that I didn't know. This bum's got an arrest record as long as the boulevard. And he's hollering, burn it down. Burn what down? And they focusing on him, but they don't tell you he has an arrest record as long as the boulevard. They don't tell you that. Because that's not exciting. Leaving it like that, like he's a member of the family protesting. He's a piece of shit. That's what he is. But they don't tell you that. And I only knew from Steve told me. Steve said, no, I didn't know that, Steve. He said, no, they're going to tell you that. That ain't sexy. They just will make you think it's a Ferguson resident. Burn it down. Burn what down? The town he lives in. All right, I had to add that on to it, too. I'm just so furious at the whole damn thing. They're making a big mockery. Towns are burned down because a 2-cent hoodlum tried to destroy a police officer. To be continued.
Wait a minute. Before you click away, I want you to subscribe, like, comment, hell, even dislike if you want to. At least do something before you get out of here.